Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dave. I'm a Washington State certified instructor. I work for New Sound Trucking School, and today we're going to go over the pre-trip very quick, right? I'm going to do the pre-trip. I'm going to do a little pause here to explain you a couple details that you guys need to know. All right. Uh, Big thing with the pre-trip. That's your first step towards trucking. I know a lot of you future truck drivers are very excited to start the school. Hey, this is where it starts. This is your pre-trip. Hit it hard, learn it as fast as you can, and I promise you, the rest of your course is going to be a piece of cake. All right. So here we go. We're going to start. So the first thing we're going to do here is the external light check, right? The operational light check, in which you're going to start your lights. You're going to let know the examiner to go to the front of the vehicle, right? The examiner is looking for two things. Number one, that the lights work, and number two, once you start turning on all your lights, she's going to know that you know where all the buttons are at. So those are the two things the examiner is looking for. So my cameraman, he's my examiner today. So cameraman, please go to the front of the truck. Clearance lights,
Yes.
headlights, high beams, left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers. Right, Mr. Examiner, please move to the rear of the truck. Tail lights. Tail lights. Left turn signal.
Good.
Right turn signal.
Good.
Four-way flashers.
Working.
Right, Mr. Examiner, please move to the rear of the trailer. Tail lights. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Brake lights. Four-way flashers. Right, sir, please come inside the cab. Now that the light check is already out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin with the in-cab inspection. My examiner is sitting on the passenger seat, and the first thing we will begin with is going to be our air supply system check, right? Right, Mr. Examiner, we're going to begin with our air supply system check. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to conduct a safety start. I'm going to depress my clutch, make sure my truck is in neutral. I'm going to ensure both my tractor and trailer parking brakes are set. I will turn my key to the on position. ABS light turns on, then turn off. Now I will start the truck. My next step is going to be to press my service brakes until my air is at 90 psi or a little bit below it. Right now my air is already at 90. It's pretty much already at 90 psi. It's about 80 psi. So we don't have to pump our service brakes, but you always want to make sure you mention I'm going to pump my service brakes to have my air 90 psi. All right. Now I'm going to fast idle the truck. My air governor is going to cut out in between 120 and 140 psi. Right. I'm going to fast idle, no more than 1,000 RPM. I cut off at 135 psi. Now I'm going to start getting my truck ready for the next set of tests. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to depress my clutch. I'm going to put my truck in gear. It could be first, it could be second, all right, or third, it doesn't matter. All right, now I'm going to turn my truck off, turn the ignition off. Very important, guys. Once you turn it off, don't forget to turn the key back to the on position. You'll know why later. I will turn the key back to the on position. Now I'm going to release both my tractor and trailer parking brakes. Right, and truck is not going to roll because the truck is in gear. Right, if this was an automatic, I will make sure that my chuck blocks are already in the tires before I even start my air supply test. That's the first thing you would do in an automatic truck. All right, now the next thing, I'm going to conduct my air leak test. All right, for the air leak test, you're going to have to take 1 minute count. Right, you're going to have to push your service brakes, right, and you're going to see if you got any air leaks, but it's gonna be a 1 minute wait. So you can use the timer on your phone, or you can use your watch, whatever you need to use to make sure you count that 1 minute. It is allowed on the test. All right, so right now we're just going to pretend. All right, I'm going to conduct my air leak test. I will press and hold my service brakes for 1 minute, and I will not lose more than 3 psi for a combination vehicle. For a single vehicle, or 4 psi for a combination vehicle in 1 minute. All right. So now that I set it, I'm going to go ahead and execute. I'll press my service brakes. I'll wait for my air supply gauges to stabilize. All right. My air supply gauges are at 90 psi. 1 minute starts now. All right, 1 minute is over. I have not lost more than 4 psi in 1 minute in my combination vehicle. My psi's are still at 90 psi. This combination vehicle passes the test. And after I say all that, now I am allowed to take my foot off the brake. Do not take it before. Don't take your foot right after the 60 seconds are over, because if you do, then you'll fail your test. All right. Next test is going to be the lower warning or buzzer test. All right. I will pump my service brakes until my lower warning or buzzer comes on at or above 55 psi. All right, here I go. All right, my lower warning light or buzzer came on at 60 psi. Lower warning light and buzzer working properly. All right, my next test is going to be my protection valve test. For that test, I'm going to continue pumping my service brakes until both my tractor and trailer parking brake valves pop out at approximately 40 psi. All right, here I go. Right, both my protection valves pop out at 30 psi. Both my protection valves are working properly. After you finish this test, make sure you turn the truck ignition back to the off position, and tell the tester this concludes my air supply system check. All right, and now we're going to continue to the cap check. I will begin with a safety start. I'm going to get the clutch in. Parking brakes are set. Transmission is in neutral. Turn the key to the on position. ABS light comes on and off. And now I will start the truck. The air governor should cut out in between 120 and 140 psi. Seatbelt securely mounted, working properly. Has no cuts or frayes, and is adjusted properly. My fire extinguisher is fully charged, securely mounted, and it's up to date by my seat. I have 3 reflective triangles, either on the side butts or inside the cab. I have spare fuses here or in the overhead compartment. Mirrors are clean, securely mounted, not damaged, not cracked, and they're working properly, and they are adjusted properly. All right. My windows and windshield, they're clean, securely mounted, not damaged, not cracked, no illegal decals or nothing obstructing my view. Windshield wipers and washers, they're securely mounted, not damaged, and they're working properly. Windshield washers are working properly. Everything is operating smoothly. Heater and defroster. Heater is working properly. Defroster is working properly. Horns. CD horn is working properly. Air horn is working properly. Dashboard light indicators. All right. High beams. Indicator is working properly. Left turn signal indicator is working properly. Right turn signal indicator working properly. 4-way flashers working properly. Oil pressure gauge is at normal operating range. No warning lights. Gauge is working properly. Temperature gauge. Coolant temperature is at normal operating range. No warning lights are off, and the gauge is working properly. Okay, my voltmeter gauge shows the batteries are charging. The gauge is working properly. Air gauges, both my primary and my secondary air gauge indicates that the air is rising to proper operating levels. Gauges are working properly. Now, I'm going to wait for my air governor to cut off, and I will not move on. So the next thing right now, guys, is that once you get to that point meter, you finish with everything. If the air governor has not cut off yet, make sure you do not go to the brake check. Just let the examiner know, hey, my air governor has not cut out. I'm going to wait before I move on to the brake check. So I'm going to go ahead and do fast acceleration. Make sure you don't go over 1,000 RPMs. Keep it at about 1,000. Governor cut off. It cut off at 135 psi. So that concludes my cap check, and I'm going to move on into my brake check. All right, to conduct my brake check right? I'm going to press my service brakes. I'll place the truck in neutral gear. I'm going to release my trailer parking brake. That way I can test my truck parking brake. I'm going to try to move forward. Truck did not move. My tractor parking brake is working properly, right? Now I'm going to test my trailer parking brake. So I'm going to engage the trailer parking brake again. And now I'm going to release my tractor parking brake. I will try to move forward again. Wait for the hissing to go away a little bit. That way we know the tractor brakes are completely released. Now we'll try to move forward. Truck did not move forward. My trailer parking brake is working properly. Now I'm going to test my service brakes. I'm going to release both my tractor and trailer parking brakes with hands gently and softly in the wheel. I will try to move about 5 to 10 feet forward and I'll apply my service brakes. Here we go. Right, applying the service brakes. Service brakes are working properly, and truck did not pull left or right when applying the service brakes. All right, I'm going to put the truck in neutral. I will engage both my tractor and trailer parking brakes. I can release the clutch. Now I'm going to turn my truck off. And that right there concludes my total in-cab inspection. So, guys, let's go outside. All right, we're going to begin with our external light check. I'm going to inspect my clearance lights, my headlights, clean and clear in color, right? My turn signals. Please come with me, Mr. Examiner. My truck side marker light, my trailer clearance lights, my tractor tail lights, my trailer side marker lights if equipped. All right, this is 28 footer, we do not have one. Okay, then we got our trailer, our reflectors, right? In this case we don't have one right here, but some trailers do. My rear trailer brake lights, we got both rear trailer turn signal lights, left and right. My trailer identification light, right? They are all clean, not missing, not broken, proper color for the location. All right. Reflective tape is present and affixed securely to the vehicle. All right. Reflectors are red on the rear and amber elsewhere. Trailer clearance lights and identification lights, red on rear and amber elsewhere. So there is no leaks underneath the engine compartment. Truck isn't leaning to one side, which could indicate there is a suspension problem or is low tire pressure. All right, let's go ahead and open our engine and do our fluids. We'll start with our coolant. Coolant is above the refill mark. All right, we can check on the sight glass, or we can open the radiator cap, of course when the engine is cold. All right, engine oil, let's come on this side. I'm going to check the engine oil level at the dipstick right here to be sure that it's above the refill mark. All right, and if I have to add any oil, well, I'll add it right here on the fuel cap, right? Take the fuel cap off and then you're good to go. Our power steering fluid level is going to be above the refill mark. I can check by using the dipstick or the side glass. In this case, this one specifically, I'll just open the cap and I'll know what the level is. All right. Component. Belts are not frayed, not cracked, not worn, and it deflects no more than 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch when pulled on the middle of the belt. All right. Engine hoses and fittings, right? Got a lot of them. Engine hoses and fittings are securely mounted, not damaged, not cracked, not worn, not loose. Alternator, right? Alternator is belt driven, working properly, not damaged, securely mounted. Alternator wires have no damage and they're securely fastened. All right. Air compressor is always working properly. It is not damaged. It is not leaking. It is securely mounted and it is gear driven. Our water pump, going back to the other side. Water pump, it is gear driven, securely mounted, not damaged, not leaking, and working properly. This case of this one's belt driven. Power steering unit or power steering pump is working properly, not damaged, not leaking, securely mounted, and it is gear driven, right? It's right behind the air compressor. Power steering box and hoses is securely mounted, not leaking, no missing nuts or bolts. Hoses and fittings are not damaged or leaking. Okay. Our steering linkage. The links, arms, and rods from steering box to wheel are not worn, not cracked. Joints and sockets are not worn or loose. No loose or missing nuts, bolts, or cotter pins. Our suspension, right? Our leaf spring mounts and brackets and bushings are securely mounted, not damaged. No missing nuts, bolts, or bushings. Leaf springs and hangers. They're not missing, not damaged, not cracked, not bent, and not shifted. U-bolts are securely mounted, not missing, not broken. Airbags are not damaged, not leaking, and no holes. Airbag mounts and brackets. They're securely mounted, not damaged, no missing bolts. Chuck absorbers are securely mounted, not damaged, not leaking. Brake hoses and lines are not cracked, not worn, not frayed, not loose. Hoses and lines can supply air. Fittings and couplings are securely mounted, not loose. Brake chambers are not leaking, not cracked or dented, securely mounted, and there is no loose or missing clamps. Slack adjusters and push rods are not bent, they're not broken, they're not loose or missing parts. Securely mounted, and push rods should not move more than 1 inch when brakes release when pulled by hand. All right, brake drums, they're in here. There's no rust, no dents or holes or missing bolts. No contaminants such as grease, oil, or debris. Brake linings or disc, if it's equipped, are not worn, dangerously thin, No contaminants such as oil or grease. Moving on to the wheel. Tire is evenly worn. Tread depth is at least 4/32 of an inch. Side walls and tread has no cuts, bulges, or damage. And I will check inflation with a tire gauge. Right? Rims securely mounted, not damaged, not bent, and no welding repairs. Valve stem and cap are not damaged, not broken, not missing, and it's not loose. All right? Our lug nuts, not loose, not missing. Lug nuts has no rust trails around the nuts. No cracks or distortions from the bolt holes. Right? Hub oil seal is not leaking. It's securely mounted. Oil level is adequate. I can check it on the hub side glass if it was equipped with it. This one's not. This one is sealed. Side of the truck and back of the truck. Right? My mirrors are securely mounted, not damaged, no loose fittings, free of excessive dirt. Doors and hinges have no damage, securely mounted. Right? They open and close properly. My door seal is intact, no damage. Window is clean, no damage. Steps and catwalk. My steps and catwalk are solid, free of debris, and securely mounted to the tractor frame. Fuel tank and cap. Tank is securely mounted, not leaking. Cap is tight, no leaks. All right, same deal for our def tank if equipped. This one doesn't have it. All right. Frame, not cracked, not broken, no illegal welds, and no holes. Cross members are not loose or missing, not bent, not broken, right? Our drive shaft is not bent, twisted, or cracked. My U-joints are securely mounted and free of foreign objects. My splash guards, right here. They're not damaged and they're securely mounted. Right? My exhaust system is not damaged, not cracked, no holes, no severe dents, no signs of leaks such as rust or carbon soot, no loose clamps. It is securely mounted. Okay. Our drive axle, I would check the leaf spring mounts and brackets, leaf springs and hangers, U-bolts, chuck absorbers, bushings, brake hoses and lines, brake chambers and clamps, slack adjusters and push rods, brake drums and brake pads, tires, rims, my valve stems and cap, and my lug nuts. Right on the drive axle, the same way as I did in the steer axle, except my axle seal. The axle oil and grease is not leaking. All right. My tire tread depth is at least 2/32 of an inch on the drive axle. All right. My torque arms and bushings, they're securely mounted, not damaged. Space between tires, my butt spacers are even, not damaged. No foreign objects lodged in between the duals. My airbags are securely mounted, not damaged, not leaking, with no holes. Airbag mounts and brackets are securely mounted, not damaged, no missing bolts. Fifth wheel assembly. Apron is not broken, not cracked, not bent. No gap in between apron and fifth wheel. Skip plate securely mounted to the platform. It's properly lubricated. All bolts and pins are secure, not missing. Fifth wheel platform is securely mounted to the frame, not cracked, not broken. Locking jaws. They're locked in place and fully secure in the kingpin. Kingpin is not bent or damaged. Mounting bolts, not loose or missing. Mounting brackets and clamps and bolts and nuts. Both the fifth wheel and slide mount is securely mounted. Release arm is securely mounted, fully engaged, and safety latches in place. Trailer side and front, air and electrical lines. Connection ends in truck and trailer have no leaks, no damage. Air hoses and electrical lines, and the insulation is not cut, shaved, spliced, taped, or worn. Right? They're not tangled, crimped, pinched, or dragging against tractor parts. Right? My electrical conductor does not show through, which is very important. All right. Glad hands and electrical plugs. They're firmly seated. They're locked in place and free of damage, and there's no leaks. Right? Bulkhead, front of the trailer. Bulkhead is secure. There's no damage. It is strong enough to hold the cargo. No cracks, bulges, or missing rivets or holes. All right? Cool. Our landing gear is fully raised. No missing parts. Crank handle is secure, like you can see. Support frame and landing pads are not damaged. Frame is not cut or broken. Welds, no holes, no damage to the frame rails, no cracks, not bent, not broken or missing cross members. All right, no holes, no cracks in the box or the trailer floor. All right. Trailer axle. I will check my leaf springs, mounts, and brackets. Leaf spring and hangers. My U-bolts. My chuck absorbers. My bushings. My brake hoses and lines. My brake chambers and clamps. Slack adjusters and push rods. My brake drums and brake pads. My tires. Rims. Valve stems and caps. Lug nuts. On the trailer axle, the same way as I did on the drive axle, except my hub seal. Hub oil and grease is not leaking. Right. Tire tread depth on the trailer axle is going to be at least 2/32 of an inch. Torque arms and bushings are securely mounted, not damaged. Space between duals, hot spacers are even, not damaged, and there's no foreign objects lodged in between the duals. And if equipped, my airbags are securely mounted, not damaged, not leaking, with no holes. Airbag mounts and brackets are securely mounted, not damaged, no missing bolts. My ABS light, it's not damaged, not missing. It's clean and it's proper color for the location. It goes on and off when checked. Alright. My mop flaps, they're not damaged, securely mounted. Alright. Back of the trailer. Right. My door and hinges, they open and close properly. Alright. I will check the right side of the trailer the same exact way as I checked the left side. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's it for our pre-trip. If you guys have any doubt, guys, contact talk to your instructors. All right. They're there to help you out. They'll explain you anything you need to know about the pre-trip. Now remember, it's our responsibility as instructors to teach you what to do and what not to do on the pre-trip. But the most important part here is that it's your responsibility to learn this pre-trip. All right? I can't put it on your head. You have to do that, guys. So make sure you study, and I assure you, you're going to pass your test. We'll make sure of that. All right? Until the next time.